Here we are, folks. We got Vitor Petrino, 9-0, taking on Modestas Bukauskas, 15-5. The Baltic Gladiator. Wow, isn't that interesting? Renat Fakhretdinov is the Gladiator, and I believe, Modestas Bukauskas, the Baltic Gladiator. So we got two gladiators in a row here. And we've got Vitor Petrino Icao. I actually have no idea how to pronounce his nickname, but it's Icao with accentation. So I will look for a serious pronunciation here on Vitor Petrino's nickname, but he is another CM system fighter. So same gym that is listed for Alizé Zaleski dos Santos in terms of affiliation. And I was very happy about the Vitor Petrino result last time out. I called Vitor Petrino by sub 3 or decision in that last fight. And the reason I called that was because you look at that fight against Anton Turkalj. Anton Turkalj knows how to grapple, right? He knows how to wrestle. That's kind of his bread and butter. He's gone for 11, 12 takedowns, I think it was, against Dos Santos in his Contender Series fight. So Anton Turkalj knows how to grapple. He's grappled with Gustafsson and had, grappling matches purely in his life. He trains with good guys in Sweden. And this guy's physicality just shut down everything from Turkalj. I bet Turkalj by sub there because I was like, Petrino is not as high level as Turkalj on the mat. But watching him win those scrambles, watching him out-muscle and out-maneuver a guy like Turkalj and do it for the 15 minutes when Turkalj tends to be a guy who comes back on late. He tends to lose the first round like he did against, I think it was Liam-Heslin regionally. And then Liam-Heslin starts to tire out. He goes, gets the win, gets the finish. When you look at a guy like Vitor Petrino, he's an athletic hoss. He is a freak specimen. The guy can't be moved around easily at light heavyweight, period, point blank. I don't know a guy who could easily move this guy at 205. Adolfo Bellato, not a bad fighter, right? And he has knocked him out twice. And Adolfo Bellato just got signed to the UFC, just cast us a nice ticket to end off the Contender Series season, right, with that plus money. But Adolfo Bellato is a guy where, he still makes a lot of mistakes in his fights. He still can leave himself vulnerable, but he's normally got a good enough chin to get through it. He's normally got a good enough heart to get through it. He wants to win. You could tell when you watch him fight. It wasn't enough against Vitor. He's just too athletic. He was too much of a freak. Even when he hurt Vitor, Vitor was able to get back up and get back in his face. The opposite was not true, right? And he was able to just do more damage. And so I've seen this guy take shots, go through adversity, keep fighting, right? On the other side, Modestas Bukauskas, he's a tough guy. I take my hat off to Modestas. He went out there and he's earned it the hard way. Zach Pauga, I thought was a winnable fight for him. I said as much at the time. I believe I picked him outright in my Roto Grinders article. Tyson Pedro, I don't know that I expected him to win there, but Tyson Pedro is a guy that has been consistently unreliable in that parlay type range. And so he lost there against Modestas. Somewhat understandable. Prior to that, he got the wins on the Cage Warrior regional scene, but he got his knee blown out by Khalil Roundtree. He lost a split decision, close fight that a lot of people thought he probably deserved the nod against Michal Oleksiejczuk. And Jimmy Crute, got knocked out in the first round by a guy who's really, really struggled in the UFC. Andreas Michailidis, that win, guys, if you watched it, he fell out of the octagon. It was a completely insane result. Was he probably going to win that fight? Sure. But it just, we didn't really get a fair accounting there. He kind of just fell out of the cage. So what do you think the odds would be for Bellato versus Bukauskas right now before the Petrino fight? That's an interesting question, my man. It's an interesting question. I'd have to look at Bukauskas' ground game in a little more depth. Doesn't seem like he's been submitted since 2016. But again, you don't really see a ton of grapplers on his ledger here. Tyson Pedro, maybe one of the better grapplers among them, but he gassed out badly in that fight. I believe he won the first round cleanly, if my memory serves. Zach Pauga, I just don't think very highly of, to tell you the truth. No disrespect. He's not a guy I rate as very long-standing in the division. And now, looking back, he's been knocked out a number of times. I think Vitor's got a lot of power in his hands. I think that Bellato, he's prone to make a lot of mistakes. So he would probably be a minus 150 favorite against Bukauskas. That would be my guess. But I don't know. That's an interesting one, Dixon. I'd have to give that some more thought. Just top of the head, though, I feel like Bellato probably has more pass there. I think he could win a decision. I think he could win by knockout. I think he could win by sub. And I think Modestas would probably have to win a decision or win by knockout in that spot. Be kind of surprised if he leveraged any grappling success over a guy like Rodolfo Bellato. But with that being said, Vitor in this spot, man, I think he's got more power than Modestas. I think the cardio is probably close. I probably lean ever so slightly to the Modestas Bukauskas cardio. But Vitor, I just think, has way more freak athleticism. I think he could probably get on top of Modestas and hold him down. But I gotta revisit the tape. Long and short of it is, I don't know enough about Modestas' grappling game to confidently back Petrino here. But I think that Petrino, more athletic, more margin for error. And I think I would be not surprised if he finished Modestas at some point in this fight. Despite Modestas being tough, I just think that Modestas, his chin is a little bit questionable. And I also think that Petrino is coming into his own in terms of his skills. Every time out, I expect to see a better product from this guy. And I think he's got a lot of the raw physical athleticism and tools that you can't really coach into somebody, right? Like, you can coach a lot of the problems out of Petrino's game, but you can't coach somebody to be a freak athlete. They just are or they are not. Shout out to Dixon, says, Liam, here's a sneaky angle. He's looking for the yam bag special, like my guy, Uncle Lou. Point deduction, plus 2,000. Bukauskas, I feel, is guaranteed to be throwing the Travis Brown style elbows to the back of the head when Petrino tries takedowns. DQ is live. Interesting. I don't know if our guy Petrino would be one to lay down and take a DQ, but it's a good point. It's a good question.